Hi, hello, I'm Urshka, and I love to make things. As you will see in this video, I have so many things to show you, and I'm so excited. Please get a little drink. If you want to craft something beside me, feel free to do so. I love doing that, and we'll just get into the video. Yes. First of all, I would just like to show off my new, it's not new, it was new, a new finished object in the last episode. So if you want to go watch that, I think you can like check out my YouTube channel, or I'll put a link down below, upstairs, I don't know where. But this is my SAIDE top by Woozy by Céline, and it's very airy. I am wearing a turtleneck underneath. It's very airy, it's very breathable. It's made out of one strand of mohair on like 6mm needles. At least I use 6mm needles. And it's just so wonderful. But I have been having problems styling it for like colder weather, because in the hotter weather I was able to just wear a tank top underneath and then this on top. But now I've tried a few times to style a t-shirt underneath, but I find it just doesn't work in my opinion. But yesterday I was thinking, why not put a turtleneck underneath? Because it's tight, like it's nice and form hugging, because then you're really able to see like your form through the SAIDE top, but you also have like an oversized thing on you. It's the best thing of, like, it's the best of both worlds for me, in my opinion, because I love oversized clothing, but sometimes I feel like it makes me look like I'm wearing a bag. So this is like great. But yes, let's start with my first finished object. I have a bunch of finished objects that are related to Halloween since last Friday. It was Halloween, and I decided this year I'm gonna plan in advance. It's not gonna be one of those like, oh, I wish I was this character, but I'm like, it's 2 days before Halloween and I don't have time to do anything. So I plan in advance. I was Lord Farquaad from Shrek, and my boyfriend was Shrek, and which called for a lot of DIYing. And the first thing that I did is I made Shrek ears. I crocheted these little Shrek ears, as you can see, using leftover drops Nepal that I used for my boyfriend's sweater that I knit him in the color moss, I believe. You can't really see the color right now. It's not showing up as nice of a green as it actually is. But I made this for my boyfriend, and I made this vest because Shrek does wear a vest. I made this vest using, I asked my grandma if she has any brown fabric laying around, because I checked my fabric storage and I had 0 brown fabric, even though I know I bought it at some point. I need to get that organized. But she told me she had a pair of oh my god, she had a pair of brown jeans, so I used those. I cut them up, like I basically cut up the jeans so that I had no crotch seams, and I just reworked them. I eyeballed the pattern. I basically took the back portion, like the back yoke. I just kind of traced it off my boyfriend's, one of his sweaters, and then I looked at the reference photo of Shrek, and I just kind of eyeballed the front. But I did go crazy with the finishings. I don't know why. I basically made French seams on the inside so that no raw edge is showing. I top stitched that on the outside, so for the shoulder seams and for the side seams. Then I did a double folded edge for all of the edges so that they look neat and nice. Then I did, like, you know, one of those holes where there's basically like no, this one's not so that great, but like, yeah, it's a Halloween costume. There's no the seam is like on the inside, so there's no raw edges, except for on the outside it looks a bit more patchy, but that's fine. So yeah, I sewed this in a day, last day that I had my sewing machine around me, and then proceeded to have a lovely Halloween. I loved it. So yeah, these are my Shrek ears. I did them just kind of trying it out, but I did a long tube of just going around 6 single crochets, and then I increased a little bit. I tried to do almost like short rows on the top here so that back of the ear would jut out a bit more than the front, and I think that worked perfectly. And I basically used a glue gun to kind of secure these in place, because otherwise the ears would be able to move around the headband, and they would be able to like move front and back, but now they're kind of nice and secure in there. The second Halloween costume was my Lord Farquaad costume. I've unfortunately lost the red hat that he wears, because Ireland is very windy and the wind just took my hat and I didn't realize it. Thinking about it now, I should have glued the hat onto a headband so that it would be nice and secure on my head. But I wore a black bob, I had a red dress on, and my little hat, black tights, black long sleeve underneath, and then some loafers, because I feel like loafers give off I'm a Lord Farquaad vibe. And then I made this, it's a bit wrinkly now, but I basically made this cape, very long cape, red cape, out of a pair of pants that I bought. I'm gonna be honest with you, I bought them on an impulse in the summer from H&M. They were quite cheap. I just saw that they were made out of viscose and linen, but I never wore them. I don't wear high-waisted pants anymore. They were just kind of like sitting in my closet, like looking at me. Oh, this was an impulse buy, and this is what you get for doing it, basically. So I was like, no, I'm gonna make this work. So I turned them into a nice little cape. It does, after a time, it does like kind of choke me, but it's okay, it's Halloween, I'm gonna wear it like once. But I was thinking I could use this for like a Red Riding Hood costume in the future if I wanted to be one. So this is great. Then the hat, I don't have it with me because I lost it. But before that, I was trying to make the hat doing crochet. Little did I know how long crochet takes on like a tiny hook. Damn. So I was trying to make a little hat out of using crochet, using this cotton that I bought from Søstrene Grene. I'm not sure I'm saying that correct, by the way. Nice red cotton in the color blah, 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 blah. 19? I think so. It's a nice red. I think it matched perfectly basically with my yeah, that's a perfect match. And my dress was also the exact same color. So, but I just couldn't do it on time. My hands started hurting like a week before Halloween, so I stopped knitting and crocheting altogether. So I decided I actually used like a little felt material to quickly sew up my hat, and that worked very nicely. Now for an amigurumi intermission. This is the little girl that I made. Look at her, she's so cute. She's so tiny. I made her belly nice and chubby. Her name is Pico because she's like, you know, picometer, very tiny, very small. And that's not all, by the way. She is actually a witch crow, and I have an outfit for her. This is her cape, very majestic, very nice cape. And that's her hat. Don't tell me this is not the cutest thing ever. She looks like a little, her beady eyes it get to me every time. She's so cute. This is a pattern by CrochetedByBogusia, I believe so. I will obviously put the names on the screen. And she makes amazing plushy patterns. Exhibit A, my little crow. Exhibit B, my little jeweled bear, who is so cute. He's much bigger than the little crow, obviously. Look at them. The size difference is amazing. But basically the little crow was available at some point. If you bought a pattern, you would get the little crow pattern for free with it. And then she did that the same thing again, I believe so. But I'm not sure if it's still available right now. But honestly, any of her other patterns are so amazing that basically I want to crochet them all if ever I have the time. But what I was thinking is this hat was a fail. I mean, I'm not gonna finish it because I don't need it anymore. But it's a nice red, and I have enough yarn to make the dragon plushie from her. I already have the pattern because I bought it at the same time that I bought the pattern for the Druid Bear. And to have a nice little red dragon. And I'm quite excited to make another plushie because they're so adorable. So yeah, that was a plushie talk. Excuse me that there hasn't been any knitting except for my finished object, but I have another crochet thing, and then we'll get to knitting. I finished this in May. This has been in my possession for so long and unused for so long. Basically, I wanted to make like a hand towel out of these colors because I thought they would go well with my other towels, and I wanted a nice little handmade hand towel. I didn't want to knit it because I know that knitting tends to not lay flat unless you do garter stitch, but now I have another solution for that, and I'm so excited to tell you more about it later. But basically, I made this little cute wave stitch pattern. I just kind of googled a YouTube video on how to make the wave stitch. I think it's called the wave stitch, I'm really not sure. And then I just kind of did my thing. There was some like trial and error involved and how many stitches to cast on. But I basically was crocheting on this on vacation, and then I came home and I tried using it, and it did not absorb water. I tried like washing my hands and then drying my hands in this, and no water was absorbed. So I left it there for the next 4 months, you know, just not doing anything about it. But like recently I've been thinking about it. Should I try at least block it, at least wash it? Maybe that will make it more absorbent. So that's what I did yesterday or 2 days ago. And now it's dry. So I will test it and will tell you guys probably on the screen. Does it work or not? Little intermission. I tried using the cotton hand towel to dry my hands. It did dry them. Like, it doesn't dry them as fast as I'm used to for towels, but it did leave like a bunch of little fiber like remnants on my hands. So I think that's a little bit of a fail. So I don't think I'm gonna use that towel. That's technically it for my finished objects. But to bridge the gap between finished objects and works in progress, I have half of a finished object, half of a work in progress, but it's the same thing. Because I made gloves, yay, with fingers. So yeah, I made gloves. I made a glove, just one, for my boyfriend in this lovely forest green color. It's beautiful. Oh my god. And this is also self-drafted. This podcast has been so far almost fully self-drafted except for the plushies. But yeah, this is a self-drafted glove. Sorry, another intermission. But I used a Nimble Needles video. That's on YouTube, on how to make gloves with fingers, just to get down the technique and like what he recommends. I love his videos, they're so in-depth. So yeah, it's not technically fully self-drafted, but I did have to calculate everything myself. I will put it on, but you will see that it's not like it's too big for me, because I did measure my boyfriend's hand to make it, and it fits him like a glove. It fits him perfectly. I'm sorry for the pun, but basically I made a nice 2x2 rib cuff, but I made it double the size. Like, I doubled it in length, because then I folded it. I basically made a little purl row where the fold would come, and then I folded it, and then I picked up the cast on edge with my live stitches. I knit two together for one live stitch and one cast on stitch, to then have the double folded cuff, which is so nice and cozy, like nice and squishy. I love the look of the 2x2 rib. And then I proceeded to just knit, increase a little bit for the thumb. I don't know if you can see that, increase for the thumb. And then I increased for the palm a little bit as well, here. because it turns out that the palm is not the same size here as here, at least on my boyfriend it's not. And then I did every finger separately. It was a little bit of a mental struggle to get through this, to measure stuff, to calculate stuff, to be like, oh, what about this, what about that. That's why I used so many lifelines. All of these white dotted lines are lifelines that I used, because I used teeth floss to make my lifelines, because it makes life so much easier. What's up with the puns today? But yeah, because it glides like very nicely through the yarn. It doesn't catch on the yarn. It's so thin that you can basically put it on while you have your needles on, and it makes it very nice to try on the glove. Like, just take the needles out, have the lifeline hold the stitches, and try on the glove without the needles. But now that I know that this glove fits perfectly, and I have all of the stuff hopefully nicely written down, I did start making the second glove. I'm a bit slower on the second glove because I'm not as excited about doing the same thing twice. There's no like, oh, will it work, will it not work component to this, because I know that it worked the first time. So it has been a bit slow, but that's also because I'm doing the rib, which is like 6 centimeters, and it doubled that actually, so it takes some time. But then, like, once you get to the actual glove part, it goes so fast. I am using, what needle size am I using? 2.5 millimeter needles. Nice red and green color combination. I always use double pointed needles, and I've found that the more that I use them, the less I see any laddering happening. The more I'm like actually used to doing like tightening up every second stitch when I start the new needle, and that usually works super nice to not have a loose stitch or laddering happening. So yeah, I need to, this was so, like, it's surprisingly so fast when you go to up to the hand. So the yarn that I used was by Lang. It's Alpaca Soxx, and in the color, oh, that's a long number, 1062.0098. Okay, yeah, it's a nice green. It's a very lovely green, and I bought this in Paris. In what's that name? What's that store? Little Weasel. I bought this in Little Weasel in Paris. My boyfriend really liked the color, and at first I was gonna make him socks, but then I kept saying like, oh, I want to try and make gloves with fingers, and that's how the idea to make him gloves with fingers came out. This is it for the finished objects then, and now we can go onto one of the more exciting recent cast-ons. Technically it was a cast-on my birthday, but I didn't cast it on my birthday. I started making swatches on my birthday, and it took so long to hit gauge. So this is my DAGMAR sweater, not the jacket, not the zipper sweater, just a normal sweater. And I made so many swatches. This was my first one, obviously way too small. This is not 10 centimeters, like my hand for comparison. I don't think my hand is 10 centimeters in width. Second swatch that I did, I tried using some leftover the leftover mohair from this blouse, holding it with my yarn. I will tell you what yarn I'm holding for it actually. This got better. I used 6 millimeters. I hit gauge on 6 millimeters for the honeycomb. Oh, so lovely. It looks so pretty. Oh my god. I used 6 millimeters to hit gauge. I also used 5 millimeters. That was like a little bit too small. Then I tried using, I'll just tell you what yarn I used. But then this was the little diamond swatch. I did not make the full swatch because I misread the pattern. The yarns that I'm using are And I am kind of devastated that I misunderstood the assignment, basically. I'm using Lamana Como. As I understood it, I thought this was a DK. Turns out it's a sport weight. And technically, Petite knit uses like a heavy DK. She uses Peer Gynt. Like, she recommends Peer Gynt using holding it with one lace alpaca strand. So me using a sport instead of a heavy DK, obviously I'm not hitting gauge. Obviously my gauge is like half the size of what it's supposed to be, basically, you know. So yeah, I did have to think about it. I used knitting for olive soft silk mohair in the color Cloud. Sorry, this Lamana Como is in the color zero, color 0. This Alpaca Følgetråd is in the color 1002, and they match really nicely. In my opinion, they look very nice together. But then when you add the mohair, you see how the mohair is slightly pinkish, and it really it kind of like cools down the swatch. So as you can see, this is the how am I supposed to show this? This is without the mohair, and this is with the mohair. Oh. I really hope you see some sort of difference. But the mohair one is slightly pinkier. I don't know how to show this yet. Slightly pinkier, slightly more like cold, whereas the one without the mohair is slightly more like a warmer beige. But yeah, I ended up choosing, because I thought that the 6mm swatch was a bit open, like you can see a little bit through it, which right now it doesn't bother me actually. But I did use 5.5mm needles, knowing that I will be off gauge. Technically, I did not hit gauge on the diamond pattern at all. I think it's much smaller than it was supposed to be. So I am quite under gauge, even though I added another strand of yarn. Don't know how that's happening. But I guess, yeah, they're going from a sport weight to a worsted weight. I should have added more, I guess. But this is my sweater. Yes, yes. Look at her in all her beauty and glory. She's beautiful. This is my first cable sweater. I've done cables one time trying to make a cable sock, and it did not work, and I lost hope and I stopped. But yeah, this is my cable sweater. This is the back yoke. I've already picked up the left shoulder because I got a bit scared. Like, Petite Knit says to knit the back until it's, I think, 34 or 35 centimeters long. I think that's a bit much. Like, I'm not sure. So I just put it on hold. I'm gonna knit the shoulders and then see how far that actually looks like. But so far, this is like the exact thing that I wanted to make, and I'm so pleasantly surprised at how much fun I'm having knitting this. It is a bit tasking, obviously. It's especially the honeycomb part. It's a lot of cabling, but it's only on every 4th row, I think. So you're fine, like, for most of the knitting. But then the cable row comes and you're there for a much longer time than the other rows. It's a lovely pattern so far. Like, I haven't been confused at all or anything. I've been able to I am able to knit it without the pattern, like without looking at the pattern all the time, but I am looking at the pattern to like check off, like, oh, I did this row, I did that row, just to know where in, like, I need to do increases and such. And I'm not using a cable needle anymore for the cables. I think I did at the top here, but then I just kind of remembered how to, I remembered the videos that I've seen on how to cable without a cable needle, and I tried it out and it was really not bad. So I'm not using a cable needle anymore. The cables are not that big that it would be a problem. They're like mostly like 3 or 4 stitches on the cables, like at most. So I am not using a cable needle. I would like to I would like to show how good my pickup is. I don't know, there's just something I love about a neat pickup line. Not in that way. A neat pickup in knitting. But yeah, the top part is technically blocked because I wanted to see how wide it is, and it was not wide enough for my opinion. I really want an oversized sweater, so I did add more double moss, no, that's not double moss stitch at the end. So I'm technically at a size, like a much higher size for the body number of stitches, so I did use that size for the pickup of the shoulder stitches, like for the number of the stitches that I needed to pick up. This has been going well, and I'm so excited to have like some more progress done on it to show you guys. But I am taking my time because I have been having a few problems with my hands hurting, so I'm trying to not overwhelm them. And my back has been hurting as well. Everything hurts sometimes. My next work in progress, you've seen before. You've seen both of them before, probably in my last video as well. They were my only works in progresses. Much more has happened since then, and I haven't worked on these as much. The first one is probably because it's a second sock, so it's quite... I need motivation to finish it, but this is my self-drafted 2x2 rib sock. Wait, just like holding this one makes me want to finish it. That's so nice. That's literally so nice. I love 2x2 rib. Oh, look at it. It's so neat. It's so nice. It is so neat because I'm doing combination ribbing to... Where else am I using combination ribbing? I did the same for the cuff of the glove, but basically I've done this much, not much more than I did in the last video. So if you want to hear more about it, you can check out that video. But basically, you know, I'm on the straight part of the sock, which is the easy part because you don't have to think much. I'm not excited to read my instructions for the heel because I don't remember much, and I hope I wrote them down nicely. And then my last work in progress is my TOMBO tee, and this one has just been hibernating. I'm gonna be honest, it hasn't been touched in months, but I did do some progress on it when I did work on it. Before that, I think I was either barely joined in the front, or I had just joined in, or I hadn't actually joined in the front. But basically this is how much progress I've made on the front. That's much more than I remember, actually. This is good. Yay. I believe I'm on the raglan part. Yeah, I've started like the raglan increases, and because this is a linen cotton yarn, it does hurt my hands a little bit. It's a tiny, little tiny yarn, little tiny needles. It's a bit hurtful, so I haven't been working on it much. I know that it's not the best to like not work on something and then come back because your attention might change, but I really don't care that much right now. At least I'll probably care after, but hopefully when maybe after winter, when I get the motivation to like, ooh, I would love a little t-shirt, I already have it started, so it's not that big of a deal to restart it. And the pattern is great, so I really want this finished, actually. Not right now, but I would like this finished at some point. We have now finished the work in progress section, the finished object section, and now I have a new section, which is, because I don't think I've done that in my previous podcast, because I haven't had actually any acquisitions. So yeah, this is the acquisition section. I'm so excited because I have so many. The first one, very important acquisition, very dear to me and means a lot to me. It's in this little box, and my grandma gave this to me for my 22nd birthday, which was in September. And she gave this to me telling me that so basically her mom, so my grandmother, was in a concentration camp in Italy during the Second World War, and she met a lovely person there, and that lady used to make gloves. So after the war, she used to make gloves to get some more money, and she made gloves for my grandma. My grandma wore them a lot, so she basically used them up. So she made her another pair, which I've now received from my grandma. These gloves are from 1965, so they are, how old is that? 70 years old? Am I doing the maths correctly? Hopefully. These gloves are 70 years old, and look at this beautiful lace. That's so lovely. This picot edge, beautiful. And even each finger has the lace running down along it. Gorgeous. And these are made out of cotton, I believe, but my grandma said that she remembers that her, even though there's holes in the lace and it's cotton, she was never cold wearing them. Let me put the glove on. She did allow me to put the gloves on. They're surprisingly, they look so small, but surprisingly they fit me, perfectly. And you can really see the lace much more when it's on the glove, on the hand. The lace opens up. I believe there's a little bit of cabling even in the middle here, because there is a twist, and there's lace on the thumb as well. These are just gorgeous, are they not? So yeah, I was very, very glad to get these. I almost cried when my grandma was telling me the story. I am an emotional person, but yeah, so I've been wondering and kind of enamored by trying to recreate these gloves, because I've never done lace, but I would love to try and give it a try to make this lace pattern, learn how to make a picot edge. I think this is called a picot edge, hopefully. And then I've done gloves now, so I'm prepared to make gloves. And I would love to make a pair of gloves like these and then show them to my grandma, because I think she'd appreciate it very much, and I would as well. Because this is basically a little piece of history that I get to have with me. So yeah, I think I'll need to use a very, very, very thin yarn. This looks like a very thin cotton, and very small needles, which would hurt my hands, but I'm prepared to do it. So yeah, this is the first acquisition that I got. Thank you, my grandma. She was the one who taught me how to knit. She was the one who embraced my crafting side, helped me cultivate it, and when I was younger. And I just, every time that I craft something, I try to tell her, and I send her emails with the photos. It's just a lovely bond to have. Oh, I'm getting emotional. The next acquisition that I have is this big chunky cone. 1 kilogram of yarn. Yes! This is, sorry, I need to hold this big chunky. This is 1 kilogram of Irish yarn. I'm not sure if they grow the yarn. No, grow the yarn? Damn. I'm not sure if they actually have the sheep. I'm not sure if the sheep are Irish, but it is spun in Donegal in Ireland. Beautiful. It's by Kilcarra, Donegal yarns. And it's called Galanta tweed. So it's basically a tweed yarn. You can see all of these lovely colors, lovely speckles. It's almost like a jeans blue with all of these little variations. It's so pretty. I found this store online, and I saw that they were selling these huge cones of Irish yarn in all of these beautiful colors. So I made my boyfriend go with me because it was a little bit of a trek out of the city to go there. Not that far actually. But they had all of these lovely cones of yarn in so many colors. There were even 2-kilogram cones. Those are huge. Like, I'd be scared of it falling on my head. But they had a few different things. They had like merino. They had merino with mohair. And then this is 80% merino, 10% silk, and 10% cashmere. That's crazy. It obviously does not feel like it because it's in a cone. It has the spinning oils. The yarn has the spinning oils in them. I've learned a bit about it because I've had a cone of cashmere yarn. I have a cone of cashmere yarn, which basically taught me how to use cone yarn. Not sure if I know how to wash it yet, like properly. But this is a little swatch that I made on very tiny needles. Lovely, lovely blue. And it fills out so nicely. Like, I was afraid because I was knitting it on small needles. It looked a bit holey, but it filled out beautifully. So I'm trying to show it to you in the way that the light would catch it. It filled out beautifully. It got a lot softer. It's not the softest thing in the world, but I feel like it would be great for a cardigan, like an outer layer cardigan. So I think I'm gonna make something like the HANNI cardigan or cardigan number 9. I think HANNI cardigan is by Knitters and Friends, and then cardigan number 9 is by what's her name? Not her name, but like My Favorite Thing is Knitwear. Because I want like a big oversized cardigan with probably like, I want a chunky cardigan. I want a nice chunky cardigan, not a V-neck. I want a nice crew neck cardigan with maybe 2x2 rib. You know how much I love 2x2 rib. But I would have to hold these strands together. Look at how fluffy the yarn got after it got washed compared to how the yarn is straight out from the cone. So it really does bloom beautifully. It's not itchy at all. It's not itchy at all. It's a bit scratchy. It feels a bit dry. It's a very, like, you can hear it. It feels a bit dry. I'm not sure if that was my washing process that made it look dry, feel dry. But it's a lovely color. I just love the color. And I'm so excited because 1 kilogram of yarn, that's enough for me to make something and not worry about it if I'm gonna lose a yarn chicken. Because I want to self-draft this, because as you can see, I've been having a lot of fun self-drafting stuff, and I feel like I could do it properly now at this point in my knitting life. And then I'll have leftovers to make gloves, to make mittens, to make whatever I want, basically. Maybe a vest. The world is my oyster. Last 2 acquisitions are temporary, that's what I'm gonna say. But basically, start using your local library, please, because they are wonderful. I checked out, so I've been having a subscription to the Dublin or Irish library, I guess, the National Library. And I was using that to get audiobooks, right? I was using that to get audiobooks, to listen to audiobooks while I'm knitting, so that I can read and knit at the same time. But then at some point, I just tried to look for a book that was on a recipe book, and they actually had it. And then I was thinking, did maybe have knitting books? Because I have been to the actual physical library that's nearest to me, but they have, obviously a lot of libraries throughout the city, and you can check out on their website or on your app if there's a book that you would like and request it being delivered to your branch, so your nearest library. And they had, first of all, they had 52 weeks of Soxx. How could I not how could I not like borrow this basically? And then I even saw the Rose. What's her name? Is her name Rose? Yeah. I'm blanking out right now, but this book, like this might make me actually want to buy the book. But basically, the patterns in here are obviously lovely. Everybody knows this book. It's a classic. It has 52, sock patterns. I just enjoyed flipping through it and checking out if any of the patterns would interest me. I haven't really selected any yet. And then this one, beautiful. There's a pattern for, I'll just quickly show you the photo. A pattern for this blanket. It's so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And then, because you know how I was telling you about the, I don't really want to knit a tea towel because knit usually curls and I don't like the look of garter stitch. Well, I love the look of this garter stitch. Let me do this awkward thing again. Love the look of this garter stitch. You see this nice cloth? It's beautiful. And I would love to make like a little set, a tea towel. And she recommends using Drops Saffron, which is 100% cotton, not mercerized or anything. And I would be so down to make a little matching tea set towel for my kitchen. Oh, yes, please. But I have so many things on my needles. As you can see, I cannot afford to. I mean, my brain cannot afford for me to cast on a new thing. So I will try to finish these gloves that I'm making. I'll keep working on my Dagmar sweater. And probably once I finish that 2x2 rib sock, my mind will be like so free. Because I feel like it's been on my mind since the summer. And just knowing that there's a sock somewhere waiting for me to finish it makes me really uncomfortable. Because I have another sock that's waiting for me to finish it, but I think I'm never going to finish it. Because it was hurting my hands so much. It was like color work on tiny circulars. Scary. Anything else I should add? I did order yarn from Garntopia. So for my Dagmar sweater, I ordered yarn from Garntopia. It arrived so fast. It was packaged so nicely, and they gave me candy and a little note. So I'd like to shout them out for actually doing a very nice, like I felt so, because it was my birthday gift. So I felt so like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Last acquisition, this is very funny, but it's not knitting related at all. But I found chestnuts in Dublin. Yay! It was in an Asian grocery store that I found them, because I've not found them in any other store. But I love roasted chestnuts, and I haven't found them in Dublin. And I'm so glad that I found these, so I'm gonna make them myself. So yeah. Sorry about that little chestnut tangent. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know your opinions, your thoughts on any of the things that I've shown you. I love to hear them. I love to read your comments. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely day and that you enjoy your crafting. Yay! Bye bye!